Welcome and thank you for joining. My name is Aaron from DDS Analytics, and today we'll be walking through our workforce and retention analysis. This presentation will help us understand current attrition trends, identify key drivers, and discuss how predictive modeling can support workforce planning and retention strategies. Our agenda for today. We'll start with a summary of attrition at Frito-Lay's to frame the current landscape. Then we'll review the indicators contributing most to turnover. Next, we'll walk through the financial impact of attrition and discuss savings potential. Then we'll end with some recommendations based on the data. DDS Analytics uses Mercer's annual U.S. turnover survey as a benchmark for Fortune 500 company attrition. We view Frito-Lay's trending above the national average, with 140 employees leaving the firm out of 870. Some turnover is necessary to replace marginal or poor employees with more productive ones, and to bring in people with new ideas and expertise. However, DDS Analytics can help reduce avoidable and unnecessary turnover costs. Our team estimates Frito-Lay's attrition costing $8.5 million in replacement costs. We define replacement costs as the cost of recruiting and training equivalent employees in knowledge and expertise. Other costs include corporate real estate and location changes, materials, utilities, and insurance related to employee turnover. These costs take months or years to realize, but we estimate replacement costs to be fully realized in 6 to 9 months. Small improvements matter. Reducing attrition by 20% would save Frito-Lay's about $1.6 million, while a 30% reduction in attrition would identify Frito-Lay's as a workplace leader and nearly double the savings. Quickly highlighting where improvement can be most impactful, R&D presents the greatest opportunity from a cost and skills retention standpoint. This makes sense since R&D is the largest department. Sales teams, particularly levels 2 and above, are another priority area due to their revenue-driving roles. Now that we have an understanding of attrition at Frito-Lay's, our team looks for indicators influencing this turnover. We'll start with our top indicators. DDS Analytics saw strong evidence of employee working overtime having higher likelihood of attrition. Employees working overtime is associated with a 5.5-fold increase in likelihood to leave the company compared to those without. Some departments highlight pockets of elevated risk. Total satisfaction, which averages 4 satisfaction categories, emerges as the second strongest predictor. We found strong evidence to suggest a linear association with job satisfaction and attrition. So much that for every 1-point increase in total satisfaction, there's an association with a 69% less likelihood of attrition. Putting overtime and satisfaction together really captures the risk associated. If you find your employees need to work overtime to meet your company's goals, we may combine these indicators in the future for even more predictive power. Job involvement also played a major role. The survey asked employees to rate their job involvement on a scale of 1 to 4, and we assess every 1-point increase in this metric is associated with a 50% reduction in attrition among all employees. Interestingly, we found marital status presents predictive power. Our best estimate is single workers are 4.6 times more likely to leave the firm than those married or divorced. Prior career movement matters too, and we're accounting for that by including it in our models. The number of previous companies worked provides sufficient evidence of an association with attrition. Our best estimate is for every additional company an employee previously worked at, there is a 14% higher risk of attrition. Another common trend is we see among the Fortune 500 companies is commute time, and we saw sufficient evidence that commute time is associated with attrition at Frito-Lay's. We found employees with commutes greater than 10 miles at a higher risk, and for every mile, there's a 4% increased risk of attrition. DDS Analytics understands employees may decide to change careers or retire, and we do see some evidence supporting these circumstances at Frito-Lay's. Therefore, we've accounted for employee tenure by looking at years with current manager and stock option levels, both with moderate attrition correlation compared to other tenure metrics. All else considered, age, monthly income, job level, and job role are not significant indicators themselves. but our team finds these variables highly correlated to attrition and improve our overall classification models. These variables form the basis of our predictive retention model. Using this model, we can identify employees at risk of leaving with 83% success. When compared to an unbiased set of data we held out of training for testing purposes. Had this model been deployed previously, DDS Analytics estimates potentially 115 saved employees. Successfully retaining these employees at a cost of $200 each would result in $2.3 million in savings, even after accounting for the small number of employees who received unnecessary retention incentives. That's a 30 times return on your investment, real money that can be reinvested in growth. Implementing this model provides continuous and immediate feedback by flagging at-risk employees, which leaves your human resources teams available to focus on the higher job levels that are more difficult to predict due to a low number of employees. Historical trends at Frito-Lay's estimates each employee at job level 5 is associated with a $1 million replacement cost. Finally, since turnover is inevitable, promoting from within shifts replacement costs down to the lowest level. Thank you for your attention. At this point, I welcome all questions about the analysis, our methodology, or potential applications of these models.